just have to press the button, it gets longer. I asked for the stool for my drink because I'm playing. So thanks everyone. Sorry, I'm playing batting terms. I'm playing clean up for the drag queens. I can't follow any of that. So please, if you need to get a drink or a vibe, please go up to the bar. Do it quietly, but please help yourself, because you know what? If you were up here, I would go get my drink now. So it's storytelling, and when I first thought of that, I'm like, well, it's Christmas time, because that's a theme, you know, holidays, and that's reminiscing. And I thought, well, storytelling is like part of our culture. When I say our culture, I mean our culture as human beings. Ever since we've been together, you know, to share history, to create empathy, to share ideas. So my first recollection of actually cognitively acknowledging storytelling was when I was a geologist. So like once upon a time I was a geologist. So, and climbing mountains and hills was a bitch, let me tell you. And so I was in small fly camps all over BC and the Yukon. And so at night when there's nothing else to do, it's pitch black outside and the bears have taken over, you sit there and people start telling stories. So in one camp, there's this geophysicist named Ralph Gonzalez, and he was probably about my age now, and I was like early 20s. And he starts telling the story about when he worked in Chile. And in Chile, they have a huge rat problem. And so his solution was to buy rat poison. And the rat poison, what it did was it inhibited the rat's ability to blood to coagulate. So, and it also made them blind, so they would run around and bang into walls and bleed to death internally. So, you know, totally humanitarian. And so Ralph being Ralph, he's like, apparently if you corner a rat, they will attack you. Thanks. So what Ralph would do was once they started going blind is he would corner them, and they would leap out at them, and he would step aside and pull out his nunchucks and whack them. And I was like, that's amazing. So storytelling, not only have I remembered that story over decades, it's like, you know, I realized, like, geez, at that time I didn't have any stories to tell. And so one day, when I was older, somebody said something and I leaped into a story, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, like I had life experience. So storytelling is an amazing thing. So I was going to start, well, I kind of had some poems and stuff before I finished my reading. I don't know if you want to hear them or not. Anybody remember the Beverly Hillbillies? Because if not, I'll skip that one. Because it's a dark parody of the theme song.
Do it!
Okay. It's my first night with contacts and drag, so this will be really entertaining. Okay, so a song to the theme of the Beverly Hillbillies. And pull out my voice. Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer who shot his family dead. Then one day when he was using them for food, up from the town came the sheriff dude. Dylan had his brass badge, Texas drawl. When first thing you know, Jensen County Jail, the sheriff was a prick, so he posted with no bail. He said, the gallows pole is the place she ought to be, so they strung her by the neck to avenge her family. Can you know, inbred fools, movie stars. Get the other one, and I'll, so this gentleman, David Starrs, he's a writer, obviously. So he got himself into a situation that, unfortunately, I identified with very much. And so, it's smaller, make it bigger myself. Tease. So he got himself into a situation when he landed in New York, and it's called the Santalam Diaries. Good thing for a front lady. I was in a coffee shop looking through the walnuts when I read Macy's Herald Square, the largest store in the world, has big opportunities for outgoing, fun-loving people of all shapes and sizes who wanted more than just a holiday job. They wanted else in Macy's Santaland, meaning you'd be the center of the excitement. I circled the ad and then I laughed out loud at the thought of this. The man seated next to me turned to me in his stool, checking to see if I was a lunatic. I continued to laugh quietly. Yesterday I applied for a job at UPS. They are hiring drivers helpers for the upcoming Christmas season. So I went to them, the headquarters filled with hope. In the line were 300 other men and women, my hopes were diminished. During the brief interview, I was asked why I wanted to work for UPS. I answered that I wanted to work for UPS because I liked the brown uniforms. What did they want me to say? I'd like to work for UPS because, in my opinion, it's the opportunity to showcase my substantial leadership skills in one of the finest private delivery companies in the country since the Pony Express. I said I liked the uniforms, and the UPS interviewer turned my application face down and said, "Give me a break." I came home the afternoon and I checked the message from the UPS. The only message I got was from the company that holds my student loan, Sally Mae. Sally Mae sounds like a naive barefoot hillbilly girl, and in fact they are the ruthless and aggressive conglomeration of bullies located in a tall building somewhere in Kansas. I pictured them to be the tallest building in the state, and that they decided to hire their employees straight from prison. It scared me. The woman at Macy's asked, would I like to be a full-time elf or an evening weekend elf? I said full-time. I have an appointment next Wednesday at noon. I'm 33 years old, applying for a job as an elf. I see other people on the streets dressed as objects and handing out leaflets. I tend to avoid leaflets, but it breaks my heart to see a grown man dressed as a taco. So if there's a costume involved, I tend to not only accept the leaflet, but graciously say, "Thank you so much." And thinking, "You poor pathetic son of a bitch. I don't know what you have, but I hope I never get it." This afternoon on Lexington Avenue, I accepted a leaflet from a man dressed as a camcorder. Hot dogs, peanuts, tacos, video cameras, these things make me sad because they don't fit on the streets. In a parade, maybe, but on the streets, but not on the streets. I figure at least as an elf, I would have a place that'll be in Santa's village with all the other elves who reside in a fluffy wonderland surrounded by candy canes and gingerbread houses. It won't be quite as sad as someone on the street corner dressed as a French fry. And I can relate, because at one point I was kind of desperate for money, and I answered a Craigslist ad, and they're like, work an hour, make $50. Just have to stand on the corners while you're on leaflets. And I'm like, I'm down with that. So I applied, and I walked in, and it was a PR company running this campaign. It was for a new t-shirt company that the t-shirts were made in developing countries, but the employees were treated fairly and paid respectable wages and all that. So I thought, well, this is a campaign I can get behind. And they're like, well, our slogan is, "You are naked without your beliefs." And I went, what does that mean? They're like, well, you have two options. We have a film crew down on Wreck Beach where you can be totally naked, frolicking around, blah, 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 and being filmed. Or you can stand on the street corner in skin-colored tights, our t-shirt with your slogan on it, and a censor board across your crotch, because you can't be naked in Vancouver. I'm like, oh, that's a damn shame. So I'm on the street corner in Vancouver. It's April. It's a very brisk, cold, sunny day. People are dressed in parkas and stuff, and I'm handing out leaflets. Most are avoiding me because most of the people that applied for the job were nubile young women, go figure. And then there was me and one other poor male who was the boyfriend of a nubile young woman who forced him into it. So we were on the corner handing out leaflets, and I don't know if anybody remembers Mike Carl. His little episodes of the end of the 6 o'clock news, he would do a fun piece. So when I started shivering uncontrollably and chattering my teeth, Mike McCardle shows up with a cameraman. He's like, "We want to talk to you about what you're doing." I'm like, "That's fantastic." So I went into the spiel, and this elderly woman walks by, and he's like, "Hey, do you wonder what's under the censor board?" And I'm like, "What?" So he was trying to coerce this woman. She's like, "Well, I'm kind of curious." And she's like, do you think he's wearing anything under there? She's like, "Well, I don't know." And so he's like, "Would you like to lift up?" He's like, "Well, I kind of would." And I'm like, what the hell? And this cameraman, it's rolling. And I'm like, this is going to be on the 6 o'clock news. And thank God she backed down, because I was just frozen, and I might have never actually lifted up. But so pathetic jobs for, I can relate to this. So I made it to the 6 o'clock news, and that was my 15 minutes of fame. I was naked without my beliefs. So on the bright side, this gentleman arrived in New York 3 weeks ago. High hopes that have been challenged. He imagined going straight from Penn Station to the offices of One Life to Live, where I dropped off my bags and spruced up my hair before drinks with Cord Robertson and Victoria Buchanan, the show's greatest stars. We'd sit in a pub booth at Tony Cocktail Lounge, where my new celebrity friends would lift their frothy glasses in my direction and say, "A toast to David Starrs, the best writer we've ever had." I'd say, "You guys cut it out," because I was trying to play it modest. People surrounding the tables would be like, isn't that? I might be distracted by their enthusiasm, but Victoria Buchanan would lay her hand on mine and say, "You better get used to being the center of attention." But instead I'm applying for a job as an elf. Even worse than that, there's a very real possibility I will not be hired. But I couldn't even find work as an elf. That's when you know you're a failure. The afternoon I sat on the 8th floor of the Santa Lan office and was told, "Congratulations, Mr. Starrs, you're an elf." Oh God. I feel for him. In order to become an elf, I filled out 10 pages worth of forms and submitted a urine for drug testing. The first interview was general, designed to eliminate the obvious sociopaths. During the second interview, we were asked why we wanted to be elves. This is always a problem question. I listened to the woman ahead of me, a former waitress, answering the question saying, "I really wanted to be an elf because I think it's acting." And before this, I worked in a restaurant, which was run by this really wonderful woman who had a dream to open a restaurant. And it made me realize that it's really, really important to have a dream. Everything this woman said, every phrase, every sentence was punctuated with a question mark, and the interviewer never raised an eyebrow. When it was my turn, I explained that I wanted to be an elf because it was one of the most frightening career opportunities I'd ever come across. The interviewer raised her face from her application and said, "And?" I certain that I failed the drug test. My urine had roaches and stems floating in it, but still they hired me because I'm short, 5'5". Almost everything they hired was short. One was a dwarf. At the second interview, I was brought in the manager's office when I was shown the floor plan. On a busy day, 22,000 people came to visit Santa, and I was told that as an elf, my lot was to remain merry in the face of torment and adversity. I promised that I would keep that in mind.